Hello everyone. So today we are going to solve a problem on two pointer on arrays. And the questions is sort array by parity 2. So let's dive into the question. What the question says we have an array integer nums where half of the integer are odd and the other half is even. You can see here we have 4 and 2 which is an even integer and 5 and 7 which is an odd integer. We have to arrange it in such a way that at the even index we have even integer, at odd index we have odd integers, and so on. So how to approach this question? Let's think of it a bit. Let's see, we have 4, 2, 5, 7. We have this integer. Now we have to arrange it in such a way such that the 4, okay, the 4 is at the correct position. Now 2 is at the odd index. Now how we are getting this is the odd index? So this one, since Java starts with 0 based indexing, so 4 is at the 0th index, 2 is at the first index, 5 is at the second index, and 7 is at the third index. Now you will get a bit better idea how to approach this one. Now you can see 2 is at the first index. Now this one is an odd index. That's why we have to put an odd integer which is closest to 2. Now 5 is an odd integer which is closest to 2. That's why we put 5 here. Now let's move at the second index. Now we at the second index, and what do we need at second index? An even integer. So you can see simply 2 should be the answer, and at the third index we have 7, so no need to change. Now we have 7. So you can see here 4, 5, 2, 7. You can also think of it like first we have an even integer, then odd integer, then even integer, then odd integer. So it will be a bit easier for you to think. Okay, so how to approach this? What we're going to do, we're going to create two variables. First variable I, which help us to get the even integer, so it should start from the 0th index, and another variable j, which help us to get all the odd integers. That's why it should start with the first index. Okay, so for a better idea, I is at 4 and j is at 2. Okay, now what we will going to do, we're going to iterate this whole array from left to the right index. That's why we'll use an array. So sorry, we will use a for loop. So let's use a for loop for int. So let's say from k 0th index till n, we'll iterate it till the last index. Okay, now what we're going to check, we're going to check if this nums of k modulo 2, if it is equals to 0, nums of k modulo 2 if it is equals to 0, that means 4 modulo 2 if it is equals to 0, then what we're going to do, we'll create an array. Let's name that array as res, and what we need to do, we need to put this 4 at the 0th index. That's why we'll use I. Currently I is at the 0th index. Rest of I is equals to, what do we need to put here? 4. So nums of k, that means we have 4 at the 0th index. Now what do we need to do? I should always be there on the even indexes, so we will move this I from the 0th index to the next even index, which is 2. So we'll move this I by 2 indexes. So what we're going to do, we're going to move this I by 2 index, I plus equals to 2. That's it. That's what we need to do. So by just seeing the code, you will get a better idea how to approach this question. First, let's store the length of this array in nums dot length. Simple. Now you can see here the question asks us to return an array. So that's why we need to create an array. Let's name this res is equals to new int of size n, which is same. Now you can see we have two integers, an integer I 0 and an integer j 1. I will represent the even indexes, j will represent the odd indexes. Now we'll iterate the loop from the 0th index till the last index k plus plus. Now we will check if nums of k modulo 2, if it is equals to 0, it means it is an even integer. That's why we will store it in our final output, which is res array is equal to nums of k, and we will move our I by 2 indexes. If that's not the case, if it is an odd integer, in that case we're going to store it in j, nums of k, and again simply we'll move our j by 2 indexes, and in last we'll return our res. Let's try to run this. You can see here it passed all the test cases. Let's submit this one. That's it. This one is a simple question. We have passed all 61 of 61 test cases. What I want to say, first approach this question by yourself by just looking into the approach which I just told you here. If you don't get it, you can just comment down, okay, I need to improve a bit more. After that, you can just see the code which I have just written. I'll be putting this code into the description as well, and as well as the approach to explain how I have completed this question. First, I want you all to try it by yourself, and you can also comment down your approach if it is better than mine. So I will definitely try that approach as well.